Welcome back to the Soul Warrior podcast. I'm Stephanie Perez, a licensed professional counselor. And in this space, we explore topics such as meaning, mindfulness, spirituality, existential mysteries, and the oddities of life that shape our souls. Let's explore what it means to feel, to be human, and to live in this wild thing we call life. Hey friends, welcome back to the Soul Warrior podcast. Today we're going to be talking about a really interesting topic, the brain. Most people think if they just keep thinking about the problems long enough, they'll eventually think their way out of them. But what if thinking is the very thing keeping them stuck? Your brain isn't trying to give you the life you want. It's trying to keep you in the mental loop you're feeding it. I see this all the time. In fact, it's pretty much what keeps my career field flourishing. A lot of people just are not conscious or aware of the separation between themselves and their thoughts. When they see thoughts come in, they're so real. That's what it is. In fact, the more that I focus on those thoughts, the more power I have, the more I'll figure things out. I'll figure out my way out of this problem. I'll figure out what to do next. I'll figure out the next 5 years of my life. I'll figure out, the secrets and answers to the universe. If I just keep thinking long enough. In fact, I'm going to continue to think and predict everything that's going to happen to me in the next several days. I'm going to think about this conversation that's coming up multiple times in multiple ways to make sure that it goes right, it goes well. I'm going to continue to rehearse things in my mind about upcoming events so that I can do it right and make sure that I get there to make sure that it lands in the way that I want it to. And if I'm not thinking about what's going to be happening in the future, then I'm thinking about what's happened in the past. I'll review everything that I did wrong so I can make sure that I do it right for the future. I'll think about the past just because, there's important information back there. There's some reason why my past keeps coming up. So I got to think about it, right? I got to just keep thinking. I got to think about, what I'm going to be doing later today. I got to think about dinner. I got to think about, a work project. I got to think about what appointments are coming up for me, what I need to do for my car next, spring cleaning, what I need to organize in my garage, keeping track of all the tasks that I'm needing to do, running through sequences and which way to make it more efficient. And then let's say I also need to think about my health and how to improve my health. Like, what are all the things that I need to do? I need to go to the gym. I need to eat better. I need to start reading more. I need to start doing my hobbies. I need to start talking to friends and family. I need to do it. I really need to. I really should. I need to get to that. And let me just keep figuring out the best way to do it. What are all the things that I'm going to need to do to start off with that? What are all the things that I need to do to initiate it? What are the types of clothes that I need to wear? Where's the best gym to go? Let me do some research on that, right? Lots of thoughts. Also, in those thoughts, I'm realizing I'm thinking a lot. So I need to start focusing on what I need to do instead of that. I need to figure out how I'm going to stop thinking so much. I need to figure out, what's going to help me with all this depression? What's going to help me with all this anxiety? I need to figure out how to regulate my moods. I need to really learn that stuff because I'm so bad at it and I can never figure this stuff out. So shame on me. And, how many of us have these types of thoughts? Right? Am I right? Just keep thinking. You'll figure it out, right? Did you know that you could think yourself to death with their thoughts? Because believe it or not, as much as you think about these things and you think that you're solving the world problems, you think you're figuring stuff out, the reality is actually you're not. You're just thinking. You're just sitting there thinking. And if you think that if I just figure it out more, you just continue to think. And if you think, okay, my God, I'm thinking too much, I need to stop thinking, you're just thinking some more. So your thoughts just create this thought loop and you're just stuck up there in your head. In my line of work, like I said, this thing, the fact that people continue in these thought loops is what gives my career, it's what keeps my career afloat, to be honest. So me being here trying to teach everybody how to be more mindful, if I was able to teach the world how to be mindful, I'm putting myself out of a job. That doesn't matter. The point is, we're trying to do that. So, give me a reason to stop working, please. Uh, it's like a change career fields. Just kidding. That's never gonna happen. But the point is that we need to start recognizing what's actually happening here. Like, are we really solving life's mysteries and problems, or are we just sticking up in our head because it feels safe up there? I deal with this all the time. People are actually surprised when they become aware of how much they're actually thinking and how much they're actually paying attention to those thoughts instead of actually being present. Like, think about when you're driving. Are you really driving and paying attention to what's going on around you? I mean, a part of you is probably, you gotta know where to go. You have to know where to turn. So on some level, you're aware of where you're going, what you need to do next. You're paying attention to who's around you. But how many times have you like started it at point A and then you ended up at C and you're like, oh my God, where did B go? I just got from here to here. I don't remember what happened in between, you know? And sometimes our thoughts can go so rapidly, like so quickly that it turns into neuroticism. It can turn into like ADHD. I'm thinking so much I can't even pay attention to what I'm doing right now. Or obsession. Like, I'm thinking about this topic so much I can't even do anything. I have to fix this. I have to go back to the house to make sure that I check things just to make sure that it's safe, because I can't just, put it down. Like, I'll be thinking about, or maybe thinking about relationships and how do I fix those things? And what do I need to do to gain the next partner? Or what do I need to do to fix this relationship? How do I solve it? How do I, enhance it? What do I do? And the mind just continues to go. Sometimes you wake up, there it is, and you start thinking and thinking. You think so much, it's such a normalcy. It's like a norm. So it's even hard to recognize sometimes when you're in thoughts and you're looking at those, and when you're in thought and then shifting that to just being present. And there's probably a lot of reasons for that. For example, because in the present moment, things get quiet and you're just like, oh, wait, I'm here. Oh, what am I even doing here? This feels awkward and weird. I'm just sitting here. So it's almost like turning the light on and you're like, ooh, okay, this is awkward. And maybe I don't like what's around me. And maybe what should I do next? Maybe I should do that. Now we go back into our head because it's a lot safer up there in planning mode than it is to start focusing on what's here. Did you know that the brain is not what we actually think it is? The brain, of course, is like our powerhouse, right? It organizes things for us. It stores memory, but the body stores memory too. But it will, it's kind of like our orchestrator. It kind of orchestrates a lot of other things. It's where everything connects, and it has your nervous system and goes everywhere, and has like all the different parts that hold your amygdala, your prefrontal cortex, like different parts of your brain that operate for different things, spatial stuff like proximity, learning, memories, just whatever. We know that the brain does a lot of stuff, okay, for you. But on another level, it also is, even though it does all of these things, I think sometimes we give it a little bit too much credit. Like, we think, oh, the brain is everything. We just got to look up there and think about it because it has all the answers. But it actually doesn't really, if you think. We think that if we keep thinking, that we're going to somehow come up with answers. But what we don't realize is all we're doing is thinking. The brain is like your friend, okay? But it's like your friend that really is unbiased. The brain is somewhat unbiased. It's like if you're sitting here telling it, I need to think of ways to feel better. So help me figure out ways to make my life better. I want to be happy. So let's be happy, brain. Let's figure out all the ways to be happy. But what happens actually is the brain is like, okay, let's do this. So you want to be happy and you want to think about all the ways to be happy. So let's do that. And so it'll do that. It'll think about all the ways to make you happy. And if you want to be happy, the brain's like, you want to be happy. So let's just figure out all the ways to keep you wanting to be happy. You see how that worked? So brain said, so you tell the brain, I want to quit this habit. I don't want to have this habit anymore. So the brain says, okay, you don't want to have this habit anymore. So let's keep giving you all the reasons to not want to have this habit anymore because you don't want to have this habit anymore. So let's make you feel like you don't want to have this habit anymore. And let's give you all the thoughts about not wanting to have this habit anymore. The brain isn't like, oh, you don't want to have this habit anymore? Well, let's just not have this habit anymore. It doesn't work like that. The brain literally does what you want it to do. It's almost like having a superpower that you're just like unaware of. Like, there's this episode in Buffy where Willow, she's the witch in the group. It's like a Scooby gang, like Scooby Doo, and she's like the witch. And there's this one episode where she does this spell. She wants to make her will be done, so that she can like make things happen. I forget what it was that she wanted to actually have happen, but so she casts the spell and then she looks at something. She says like, I will this pen to turn into a feather, or like, I will this cup to fill up with water. And it doesn't happen. And she's like, oh, this didn't work. So she goes about her day. She comes across one of her friends and they start having this conversation. And then she simply says something like, oh, you're so blind. And another incident comes around where she's talking to somebody and they're mentioning their other friends, and she says something like, why don't they just go marry each other? And then what happens is those things actually happen. They happen because she just says it. Like whatever she says happens. It's not, I will this to happen and therefore it's going to happen. It's that when she claims it, when she demands it, like this will be done, that's when it actually happens. So it's a tricky little thing in the brain, right? It's like, I want to be peaceful is not going to actually make you peaceful. It's going to make you want to be peaceful. So if you actually want to experience peace, it's a matter of just experiencing peace. It's a decision in the moment to just do. And most of the time, what is required to do that is getting the fuck out of your head, because that is what's causing all the problems. Getting out of the head, getting into the body, and actually embodying what you want. It's an action of will. When you will it, you do it in the moment, and that's what's happening. So if say, for example, I'm heightened in my emotional dysregulation and I say, I want to relax. If I say I want to relax and I think about all the ways to relax and I keep telling myself, man, I'm not relaxing. I need to figure out how to relax. Oh, this is not good because I really need to figure out how to relax. And all I'm doing is like not relaxing, because I have to not be able to relax in order to want to not relax. So, but if I really want to relax, I don't think my way to relaxation. I just get out of my head and I say, all right, I'm going to relax. And then you step into the body and you actually do it with your will. Start to relax. So it may seem like the brain is your friend, which they are, but they're like an unbiased, enabling friend. They're like your best friend. Yeah, we'll do everything you want without judgment, without bias, whatever you want, the very thing you want, we will do that. So we can't necessarily rely on what the brain is doing. The brain is also that kind of friend that like will just really help you out in areas that you really want. So it's not going to be the thing that like, how in my last podcast, when we're talking about love, and sometimes loving somebody is doing the hard thing that is enacting against you. The brain's like, no, let's just do what you want. So if you don't want to look at all your uglies, we're not going to see them. We're going to hide them so much from you that you're not going to see them, right? So like maybe other people will see them in you, but like you're not going to see those things, and those are like your shadows. Like, for example, parts of you that are lazy, or like when you get mad at other people for things, those are actually things that you're doing. So like, and for example, like let's say that I want to go do something new. Like I want to go to the gym, but I want to go to the gym. I'm not going to the gym. I want to go to the gym. And if I want to go to the gym, the brain's going to help me to continue to want to go to the gym. And at the most effect, it may even start to shame me. Right? It'll be like, shame on you, Steph, for not going to the gym. Like, look at you, you're a bad person. So I'm sitting here feeling like such a horrible person because I'm not going to the gym. I'm not doing what I say I'm going to do. And, oh, I never get it done. And like, and meanwhile, all I'm doing is not going to the gym. Like it's literally just procrastinating me to go to the gym. If I actually desire to go to the gym, I need to stop thinking about doing it and embody going to the gym. But that shift from going from the brain to the body is challenging because especially if the mind has been super loud for most of your life and that's what you've been looking at and catering to. And now we're saying, oh, I need to turn that off. The brain that's been like your best enabling friend is like, wait. No, wait. Don't turn off. Like I'm still here. If you turn off, I'm going to go away. And then what? You're going to be all by yourself in a quiet, lonely place. And you're not going to have any chatter up here to keep you company. And so that probably will procrastinate the person from being mindful. Think about it. When's the last time you tried to go sit down and meditate? Meditation is literally this practice of kind of forcing yourself to drop into more of a present mind to where you're becoming more aware of what's actually happening in reality around you instead of in your head. But in order to do that, you literally have to let that part of you die off. So it's like a death. And it's like it wants to fight for its life. So it's like, no, don't go sit down. You got things to do. We got things to plan. We have things to think about. So don't go sit down and do nothing and get rid of me because that's a really scary place to be. What are you going to do without me? You know? So you sit there and try to be present, and then the mind tries to fight its way back into, no, wait, remember me? We got things to think about. Remember what happened in second grade? Remember that song that you used to play back then? And remember what's going to happen tomorrow? Or remember what you have to do right now? Like all the things, it's like that little voice inside you keeps wanting to be here because it's comfortable, because it feels like it's empowered. And the idea of not having that here anymore can be really quiet and scary, like dull, boring. Though whatever feelings may come up now that you're here, which is a little bit more of like a responsibility feelings that will arise as soon as you turn the volume down of your thoughts. You're like, oh shit, the thoughts are away. Now I really have to do the thing, or I'm just going to sit here. So, oh my God, like I'm actually paying attention now. I actually have to do the thing, right? So it's a little scary from jumping from A to B. And so that's another reason why the mind is just in so much chatter up there. Now, don't get me wrong. The brain has a lot of purposes and points, and it is meant to help you. Like we can make predictions. We're able to connect dots. We're able to have this amazing imagination that is both very extremely powerful for creation, but also can be extremely powerful in the sense of like creating fear in us, because we're like, oh my God, I can see what's going to happen tomorrow, or 10 years down the road or whatever. And like, because I see that, I am completely inactive right now. So the imagination could actually pull people forward and be like, oh my God, I can see it. So let's go do it. Or it could be a scary imagination and then not make you want to do it. So our thoughts can be stimulating, but also, crippling. So the mind is very powerful in what it does and what it can do for you, which is why it's extremely important for you to get a grip of it, for you to figure out how to harness that power and make it work for your benefit. So good luck with that. What I would recommend is just a lot of mindfulness practices. Every once in a while, whenever you can, like make it a point to just stop and recognize, am I in thought mode right now or am I present? And if I'm in thoughts, which most likely you are, just recognize it and then drop back into presence. Start noticing what's around you. Start building that feeling of discomfort that may be present when you start paying attention to reality. And that will build that strength in you to where you can start using your mind for what you need it for, or being able to discard the things that aren't unnecessary. That's all I have for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Good luck out there in harnessing your brain. Thanks for listening. If you found today's episode helpful, feel free to share it with others exploring mindfulness, presence, and self-discovery. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to leave comments, reflections, or even suggestion topics you'd like to hear in future episodes. Mindfulness isn't about being perfectly calm. It's about noticing what's happening internally and externally, even when things feel uncomfortable or messy. For more reflections, check out my upcoming blog, Mindfulness Does Not Equal Calm. Until next time, take care and stay present.